Welcome to Wellness Wonderland, our holistic wellness hub. Join us each week as we dive into the realms of alternative medicine, mindfulness, spirituality, and so much more. I'm your host, Nicole Papa George, and today we have our very first guest speaker, Brittany Vaughan. She is an author, a life coach, a veteran, and an aspiring motivational speaker. So thank you so much for joining us, Brittany. How are you today?
Yes, thank you for having me, Nicole. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so
This is
excited.
my first as well, so this is exciting.
I love it. Well, we're so happy you're here. So I like to ask a couple icebreaker questions in the beginning. What do you think the world needs more of?
I'm gonna have to say love for sure. I think just love, compassion, understanding. There's so much chaos and negativity and anger that the world collectively is holding on to. And it is just keeping us, stuck, and it's keeping us in a state of conflict. And I think if we could all let love in and kind of replace some of that anger and some of that pain that we've been holding on to, we could really make waves of impact.
I absolutely agree with you. When I was writing that question down, I'm like, love. That's it. That's my answer too. We all need more of it within ourselves and for
Exactly.
everybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah. So tell us a little more about yourself and what it is you do.
So I've been, speaking of love, I've just been on a self-love journey for the past, well, really for the past, 4 years. Um, and that has just transpired into where I'm at now. I kind of did a lot of just self-reflecting and inward diving onto some of my own patterns as to, where I was searching for love and why wasn't I finding it to the level that I wanted to find it at. And as soon as I reached the realization that, I didn't have that same love for myself that I was searching for, um, that it was almost, blocking me from receiving that love that I deserved. And so now I really just focused on sharing how I receive, how I reached these levels of understanding and gained that self-love back and, healed myself. And so I kind of started working on self-development books, and I've published my first two that really help to just start bring your awareness inwards and bring your awareness to yourself and just start to kind of take a look inwards where you're maybe unhappy or feeling stuck and figure out why that is. Because at the end of the day, it always starts and ends with us and our actions and our behaviors. And so I started my first two books to help with self-awareness. And my next two is going to be more geared towards self-love. So I'm really, really excited to get those ones out into the world. And yeah, I'm just like you mentioned, I'm aspiring to be a motivational speaker. So I'd love to start sharing my story. I've kept it in for so long that that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm ready to share. I'm ready to spread this love that I speak of and not just keep it all to myself.
Yeah, yeah. Share it with the world, spread your wings and fly because the world's ready for that. And
Yes.
we definitely need more love. I just want to say that I honor you and I'm really proud of how far you've come and what you're doing and to be able to share your gifts with others through being an author, being a storyteller, that's really, really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Of acknowledging what I went through and accepting what I went through. And I think that was honestly just the hardest part because for so long, um, I had been made to just not believe that my emotions were valid or that my thoughts were valid. I kind of grew up with that glass child syndrome, that, no one had really noticed those needs or those feelings that were coming up for me. And so it taught me just to not really know who I was. And even if I did know who I was, then it wasn't worthy, And so growing up with that mindset, it only attracts similar situations that are going to further feed into that self-belief that, yeah, you're not worthy when you keep accepting partners that are treating you unworthy,
Exactly. It's
and
cyclical, right?
exactly. And so getting out of that environment when I did join the army, I kind of woke up just to the patterns of behavioral patterns, the environment, and how much that influence has on, it did on me anyway. And I'm sure everyone else just being in that same environment, I'm not being able to get out and change and see things from a different perspective. Giving yourself like that opportunity to grow and just look at the things that you've been through and who you can be outside of those things. Um,
Repatterning, right? Repatterning those
yeah,
thoughts, shifting that mindset.
absolutely.
But
Yeah, and
it
just
starts with
rehabilitating
yeah,
exactly, building those habits up new, and that's what the army really did for me, but I still lacked that self-love. And so I continued to, attract relationships that just weren't good for me. I had a lot of, narcissistic, manipulative, gaslighting, controlling, relationships, and, I think the straw that really broke the camel's back was, a relationship that we were trying to both raise our children together, and, that just brought out so many triggers that I didn't even realize I had, because I never had stopped to process or acknowledge, the things that I'd been through and how they affected me. And so that last relationship and all those triggers that came up are just it sent me into a reset. It made me realize how deeply seated some of these thoughts and these self-beliefs and these self-doubts really were, and it gave me the opportunity to fully see myself in my darkness and in my anger and in my resentment, and how much was still holding on to and how that was affecting my whole reality, and not only mine but my daughters and those that I love around me. And so yeah, that's when I really just dove into that self-healing and finding myself beyond the influence of others, and just taking a good long break to put dating to the side and re-love myself, find out what it is that I love doing and what it is that I want to do with my life and the type of mom I want to be, every day, not just in the future. It's now. It's now. The urgency is so now. It's so important. And oh, yeah, so that's everything I've been through, and now here I am.
it's a beautiful story. It really is. And I personally resonate with that a lot. I myself have had toxic partners. I've called in toxic cycles. I've been in cyclical loops that just don't serve me. I've called in the wrong types of people. And you look outwards at first, externally, like, why aren't things working out for me? Why does this keep happening to me? And it's so easy to play victim in those moments when you lack a level of self awareness that I think in the beginning of a journey is very common. I mean, I definitely did for years and years and years. And
Absolutely.
there becomes this catalyst, right? This shift in your life, or this something happens, or you move away, or the universe just quite literally like flings people out of your path. And a lot of times it happens out of nowhere, and you're just left looking around like, wait, what? What's going on? What are these shifts? Why? But
Mhm.
it starts with you. And it's that step one is self-awareness. Step
Absolutely.
is going inward instead of asking those external questions. Why is this happening to me? Why? Ask yourself, what
Exactly.
patterns are you seeing, or what is repeating, or like what ways of being am I showing up as that keeps calling these things in, and how can I shift those? And it's so important. So for listeners who may be like very new on this journey, if any of this resonates, which I'm sure it does, what do you think is like a good process or a good place to start? Or would you have any tips for anyone as to like how to get started?
Yeah, I think, two of the biggest things that I did, and okay, three of the things that I did that I will just forever swear by them, is first of all, meditation. Right now I'm going to school for, consciousness and human potential, and so we have to be trained in transcendental meditation, and that isn't the process that I took, but now that I've learned so much about it, it is just one of the most incredible ways of transcending past our thoughts and past that state of confusion and just getting into that blissful state. into that pureness. And of course, it doesn't happen right away because we're so wired to be constantly going in this, chaotic reality that so many of us are living in. But that transcendental meditation just helps you to get to that state of mind. And then the more that you do it, the more that you practice it, the more that your entire body and mind is just embodying that state of awareness. So over time, um, that number one is going to, create waves of change in somebody's life. Um, Additionally, I actually started with listening to a lot of healing frequencies. Subconsciously, at the time, I didn't even realize what I was getting myself into, down this path of healing. Because as it's not all sunshine and lollipops.
There is not.
So, yeah, I listened to just a lot of healing meditation music at night when I went to sleep. And I kind of just allowed that to soak into my subconscious mind while I wasn't even, thinking twice about it. And the third thing, which I think is honestly one of the most important, is to give yourself the space that you need to process. Whether that is being in the car with no music on and driving and just allowing your thoughts to exist, whether that is journaling every single time something triggers you or something bothers you, getting to the root of why is that bothering me? What is causing me to react this way? What is causing me to feel this way? And kind of just allow yourself to explore that. You might not always get to your and to your goal of what it is, but you're allowing yourself to begin that process. Because our minds are just wired so crazily
Chaotically, yes.
that it's hard sometimes to really unravel those thoughts and to get to it because it's just it's not always easy to do. So that's why I think the more space that you allow yourself to process your thoughts, the better. And in whatever way that is best for you.
I love those recommendations. Honestly, very similar to mine. Meditation has been a huge game changer. It's definitely a practice. It has to be something you do intentionally every day. And I'll be the first one to say it's not every day, and that's okay. But you got to
Mm.
start somewhere?
Yep, exactly.
And then I love listening to like yoga nidras or different like soundscapes at night, just kind of having that play in the
Yes,
background. That's our subconscious mind at peace. It's you're healing without even knowing that you're healing.
exactly. It's
Oh, it's
beautiful.
the easiest thing to do. Even white noise or ocean waves or something like that, that kind of just helps regulate our nervous systems while we're sleeping.
Absolutely.
So important and so powerful, and is such an easy thing to integrate into our lifestyle. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Without even thinking twice about it. It's
Exactly.
reprogramming your minds at night.
Patterning yourself. Yes. And I would like to add one more. Journaling is huge. A lot of times people don't know where to start. So my tip would be think of 3 things you're grateful for every single day. And if
Oh,
that's the
wow.
only thing you're doing, write those 3 things down. So no matter how bad the day gets, in the morning you can go back and reflect on where you were before. That's a
Oh,
huge
that's beautiful.
catalyst. Yeah, I think that's such a great place to start, and it's those little bite-sized integrations that really, like, shift our lifestyles.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Another thing too, I just thought of that really, really helped me with just repatterning those thoughts, is writing affirmations just everywhere. Like I would write them on my mirror, I would write them like on sticky notes, especially in the beginning, because it's when you're really, I think, challenging your mind the most to change from how it used to think. Because you're just bringing your awareness first to even realize that, oh, my mind is thinking that way, because we're so used to it, that it's just so automatic. So in the very beginning, yes, I would put just affirmations everywhere just to remind myself that I am a bad bitch.
You are a bad bitch. You are worthy.
Yes, exactly.
I love that. The power of affirmations is so, so strong. It might sound silly at first. So I actually did that tidbit for a friend. He was dealing with a lot of lack of self-worth, lack of self-love, just really like not feeling himself, really down in the dumps. And I suggested that. I was like, Tell yourself 3 things you love about yourself every day, even if you're lying in the beginning. Because over time, when you keep repeating those patterns over and over and over, your body will start to believe it, and then your mind will start.
Exactly. A lot of times I feel like, it's not even a lie. It's just that we believe it's a lie because we are so deep into this belief of that we're not worthy or we're not deserving or that we're not, but when we get into the realization of it, we are the source of love. We are deserving of all of it because we are it.
And it all starts with us too. So it trickles into relationships, it trickles into lovers, jobs, I think everything, right? Like those red flag patterns, those traumatic patterns, those dark patterns that we're so used to, or those things we hate about ourselves that we tell ourselves every day. Like that's what's comfortable. And so when you start to shift and say, I am this boss bitch, I am beautiful, I am I'm calling in 6 figures, you know what I mean? It sounds like a lie, like you said, but it's not. It's the truth because we're the creators of our own reality. And it
Absolutely.
starts with you and your self-acceptance, and that ripples out into everything and everyone around you and helps with those alignments and calling in those partners or those friends or that community that you really desire. It's powerful.
Exactly. I know you just said something that I just love. I want to touch on that is that when you do what is best for you at the core, what is meant for you, you're not only helping, yourself, you help everyone else around you by doing what's best for you. Because it's oftentimes that and this is something that I'm still recovering from, is people pleasing. And it's like, in my mind, I think that I'm helping them by
Mhm.
doing what I think that they want me to do. But really, am I just feeding into one of their negative patterns? Am I just enabling something else? So when I do what's best for me, I'm now giving the space and permission for them to do what's best for them and not continue that cycle.
Right.
So it's, like you said, it starts with us, but when we work on ourselves, when we fix us, when we heal us, we help heal the collective and we help heal everyone around us. And I
Absolutely.
think that's why it's so important.
So, so important. And I want
Mhm.
to dive into some of the books that you've written. Can you tell us a little more about those?
Yeah. So the first one that I published is called Into the Shadows. I'm working on myself. And basically, it just starts out by diving into your daily practices, your habits every day, where you're spending your time, where you're spending your money, and it is broken up into different sections. So you can start at whatever domain of your life that is really what is that you're wanting to work on, whether it's controlling your emotions and your thoughts, or maybe where you're eating when you're emotionally unavailable to process your emotions. Maybe you're eating, or maybe you're getting extra angry. And so this book allows you to just kind of bring your awareness to exactly how you're spending your time, how you're spending your energy, and how you're using your energy. And then after you kind of get a good idea, a good glimpse of yourself, the next section is to then start building new habits, start planning your new goals, start creating your new vision and your new future and manifesting that, bringing that into reality and creating it. Throughout the book, there are habit builders, there are not only just for your habits, but for exercising, for eating, there's a diary tracker. So it really just helps you to build up every aspect of your life. I also just put in a lot of things that I've kind of been through and how I've overcome them, different questions I've asked myself, inward reflective questions, little journaling prompts that I used throughout my own healing journey that really helped me. And yeah, it's just an all-around self-development book. And the second one that I published is just a sister of that. And so it's actually called It's My Annual Tracker, and that's a 12-month, just all of the tracking. So if you really found the first one very useful for the first 8 weeks of tracking that's in that one, the second one is just a continuation of that so that you can continue for the rest of the year and completely achieve the goals that you set out to. So
I love
yeah, it's
that.
really exciting.
Well, those sound like very, very good resources to have, and I'm definitely going to look into getting those. Where can we find those?
Yes. So they are both available on Amazon. You can also find them. They're linked in on my TikTok as well. And that's at It's Coaching Books.
Okay, good to know. That's where we
Yes.
connected, by the way. So friends via TikTok, guys. Fun fact.
It is.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share before we close out?
I think I want to just close out with similar to the statement that we opened with, and that's just remembering that at the very core, you are love. And so no matter what the situation that you're going through, in the present tense, you always are at the core love. So to try to just remember that throughout the day as much as you can, even when you don't feel like you are loved, even when you don't feel like you're worthy of love or deserve love, you are love. And to just always remember that you are love and that you deserve it. Yeah,
Our love. You
you
sure
are love. That's
are.
the message.
Beautiful one. The world certainly needs more of that. So thank you so much, Brittany, for coming on the podcast. It's been amazing. Big thanks for tuning in to Wellness Wonderland. If any of this resonates, please join the community by clicking that subscribe button or finding us on social media at Wellness Wonderland Collective. Until next time, stay curious, stay well, and lead with love in all you do.